Hi, you guys. I have a big show planned this evening, or at least in my brain. It's big to me. I've been going on about tonight being the Whitney show, Whitney Houston, and working with her for just before we went into golden time, which is when you do one full shift 8 hours and you do another full shift 8 hours. Once you go into golden time, that's the 16th hour, and then you get one union check per hour. So if, let's say, union rate is 1200, whatever, do the math, at 16 hours plus, it's called golden time, double time. Anyway, I had worked with Whitney, and boy, is there a lot to unpack there. But before that, I thought I'd bring a little surprise in as quick as I can to all this so we can jam everything in without going over. And that is, I also worked with Paula Abdul a couple of times. I used to work in commercial television as sort of a day job or night job, as it were. As both as an actor, precision driver, not a dancer for sure. And I'll get to that hopefully at the end, but note that dancer. Or help me note. So my work with Paula Abdul was during this time when I was doing this like hand model that, they have different, like, whatever, people that do these things. And I was one of them. And I worked on 2 commercials with her. One was for, I think, like, I don't want to say Nike, but something like that, shoes. And the other was for car. And Paula, all she did then, that is all she did, okay, was be a choreographer for commercials and videos. And that was it, because I worked on plenty of, videos and commercials. So she would be there, and basically her gig is to be there and to call out to the dance team what's up. And then they lay it on the line right there in front of the car, or wherever the hell they are with their shoes on, brand name, whatever that we're selling. And just like I said, lays it out. And then what she'll do, of course, as you guys probably know, she'll get behind the camera and she'll do the same routine, lay it out for you, you lay it out for her, and that's it. That's what you get. She was an expert. She was the go-to, there were others, but she was, as far as like Procter and Gamble mainstream, needing the choreographer to do, the shoe commercial or whatever, she was the go-to. Paula Abdul, easy. She was easy to spot, short, cute, well-dressed, and doing her job. So, the whole diva bashing thing, just please check it at the door. But, she did what she did, and she did it well, and then she moved on and what have you. But yeah, she was top of her game then, she was. And I, like I said, why should she give any unnecessaries? She was focused on the director and what he wanted from what I saw, the couple of commercials I saw, and just so focused on her team and just so level and, like, dedicated, shall we say, to her team, meaning group of dancers on that commercial or video. So that was my experience with Paula Abdul. Nothing negative, other than she was ultra focused on the director and on her team, maybe to the exclusion of others. Maybe that's how some folks operate, that their genius is based on sort of a hyper focus on, like the important people or whatever. And, everything else maybe sort of like fades away for them. But then we take it as like, we take it personally, and we really shouldn't. Everyone needs to do their job. You wouldn't go into some office and be like, ugh, you know what I mean. Anyway, so that was Paula. Now we have to get to Whitney, because we have, limited time. And now, full disclaimer on the whole show. None of this applies to Diana Ross, okay? Diana Ross is the exception to every rule, and she is exempt from every conversation. Diana Ross is Diana Ross, and Miss Ross is Miss Ross, and that is the end of that. There is no discussion there. Thank you. Because if any of this close encounter that I'd had, other than what I've had with Miss Ross at the school where her kids and I went to school, and I had little brushes with her at school, of course, she is Miss Ross. There's just, that's it. So she's exempt from every discussion, and she's the exception to every rule because she's Miss Ross. Anyway, so back to Whitney. Whitney is like, I mean, like I was a fan, of course, when I did the commercial, but this was ages ago. I mean, we're talking like, oh God, look it up on the Diet Coke commercial that I sent you. Check it on my page. I did a little shoot of it, so we'd have to go through a link or whatever. I just captured it in that commercial. When it first opens, where it looks like we're all kind of staging a thing, like I don't know, video stage preparation thing. And I'm at one piece of the stage at the front, leaning forward, you'll see from the back. And then it gets kind of dark. The whole thing drops because what you supposedly, you put the Diet Coke, as you'll see, you put the Diet Coke can on the record that turns. And as soon as the Diet Coke starts turning, of course, there's like a Whitney explosion out of the wall. And that's literally, watch it. That's what happens. He literally accidentally puts the can on the thing, the record player, and spins, and then poof, Whitney comes out of the wall, a wall of videos or monitors or whatever. So I was hired to be this guy that was supposed to be like, we all sort of became like these dark figure dancers. Like my friend was I don't know if you'll see it, but he was the one like against the Diet Coke machine drinking. That's my friend Kevin, and but then what do you see? Like a silhouette of like a can. So anyway, I was that guy in the front, and then I was positioned to her left, which would be stage right. By the way, this was on the sound stage of ET. Can you friggin' believe that? I showed up, actually it just occurred to me, I showed up at Layered Studios to shoot this Diet Coke commercial with Whitney, and you go into Layered, anyone will tell you this, and you see soundstage number 1 and 2, which is where ET was shot, which is apparently where Gone with the Wind, some of Gone with the Wind was shot. And Whitney, and the Diet Coke commercial and us were soundstage 2, which was just on your left. Ask anyone, I guess. So she's there, I'm there. Oh God, I don't know how to wrap this up, you guys. I mean, not really. So I'm assigned to do this Diet Coke commercial, and I know it's Whitney Houston, so I'm prepared. But it was kind of like a starstruck moment. I mean, I get starstruck in a really weird way. Like, I'm not starstruck a lot with big celebrities, but if it's somebody that I worship, like in my brain, then I'm like, it's like, I mean, like Whitney Houston, Christ. I mean, like I'm spontaneously combust. I'm like, stage right. And if of course it was Miss Ross, I'd be in an iron lung clinging to life. But anyway, she's there, I'm there. We're 16 hours in. She keeps popping out of the wall. Diet Coke thing turns around. She was popping out of the wall. And she's in this like thing in like behind the monitor. So it's not like she's like a regular stage. She's not coming from like some dressing room. She's like in this bubble thing behind the monitors. And so every time the Coke thing turns, she comes bursting out of the monitors, you'll see. And I am there to her left, stage right, the whole time. And there's a wrangler that's supposed to go, wrangle her down, up and down the stage, because there's, the stairs. And I'm right there at her left stage. As you saw, I was leaning on the stage in the beginning. Well, the stage gets shift the actors around. And so I'm literally like, at her, like her, I don't know, lion at the at the side when you go to a palace. And that was it the whole time. And of course, I'm staggered, I mean, my God, it's Whitney Houston. Now, Whitney Houston happens to be, we won't go there, but she is basically one of the top 10 most phenomenal female vocalists of the 20th century. And personally, I think she's what angels look like and sound like. So there you go. St. Peter is Whitney Houston to me, if I'm going to go be a Catholic again. Just amazing. I can't even tell you. And the Wrangler's going up and down, and where I'm standing on that stage piece that she comes walking out on. And we're there for hours and hours, and I'm standing, and she, she's not like obviously standing in the bubble. She's like on stage, where I was. And I had the privilege of being the one that was really there. There was that, DJ guy, but he's like way in front of her. So I was like literally less than 10 feet I swear to you, because I'm at the stage. So she's up and down during breaks. She's standing there, lights are hot, and she gives me little smiles, you guys. Oh my God. Not a lot, a wink, like a half wink, and a couple of smiles. You guys, no, there's nothing like a Whitney Houston smile. There is nothing on this earth like a Whitney Houston smile. Again, Miss Ross is exempt for all conversations. Not kidding. Anyway, so she's being wrangled up and down. You know, it's like, I don't know, we're like, oh God, 13 hours in, and the wrangler's not there at one point to help her down the stairs. She's not constantly going down, but if, you know, she didn't have a stand-in or a lighting, you know, it's just when, you know, so why have Whitney Houston stand on the stage all the time? Except for me. So there's a trailer that's right when you pull the soundstage door open, there's a trailer right there. So when she takes her longer break, she goes down the stairs with the Wrangler to the trailer, and then there's some woman there the whole time, like hawk-eyeing her, I don't know who she was, and then goes into the trailer with her. And so, I gotta wrap this up, you guys. So one moment, the Wrangler was not there, and she needed to get down. And I mean, hello, I'm like eight feet away from you. So I offered my hand to, I mean, the Wrangler didn't give me much time, of course. The Wrangler's on me. But I actually offered my hand to Whitney to allow her down the stairs, and I missed the opportunity, you guys. So I cannot say I touched Whitney Houston. The Wrangler came and practically mowed me down to, I guess, prevent me from, you know, giving Whitney the cooties. But so I came this close to touching her hand. I mean, it was all but outstretched, and I just got intervened. Ugh! So anyway, and she smelled amazing. Oh my God, I don't know if it was her shampoo or she wears perfume, or I don't know, Google it. But whatever it was, it smelled amazing, and that helped intoxicate the whole situation for me. And so it would lasted forever and ever and ever. We went into our first hour of golden time, actually. They didn't cut it right off. We went in our first hour of golden time, which was the 16th hour, and then at about 16 and a half hours, we were done. Again, all I did was stand next to Whitney Houston for 16 hours. Except for that part where I'm standing, I mean, leaning on the stage in the beginning, which was the wide shot of like telling you what's going on in the light. Because then the lights drop and you don't know, like I said, I mean, anybody could be anybody. Dance, remember? I'll wrap it up with this. I pointed out dance in the beginning, the closest with the dance team, Paula Abdul, the importance of that. Same in this scenario, just reinforcing the same thing. The dancers in these videos or commercials where the dancing was key, they were the talent. You know, I mean, us actors, you know, drinking the can from the machine or whatever is different. On these commercials that are dance-driven, music-driven, obviously Whitney Houston, the dancers are like primo, like the talent. You know, you don't mess with the dance, like service animals, you don't pet the dancers. So the point being, the importance of the dancers is really paramount. They get the best, look at the commercial I put, they get the best shots, they're fully lit. There's lots of time taken with whatever they need to do, and more power to them because they make the commercial. The way she shoots over that look to the, you know, like this. Anyway, so I covered Whitney, I guess, as best as I could. Like I said, it just went on forever, and I couldn't exactly say goodbye. You know, I had my few moments. So that's Whitney. But the point being, on the dancers, they are key. And in both instances, I found that twice with Paula Abdul and once with my dear Whitney, who I could smell her shampoo and I came this close to touching her hand. Anyway, and oh God, she smelled good. Okay. So yeah, but the dancers being paramount in these kinds of productions, absolutely. That's been my experience, at least. Like they, you know, it's like, I mean, they're almost like producers, you know, except for the choreographer who brings them in, and it's like, you know, cuckold. I mean, like, you know, like mama bears them. Anyway, and frequently they are men too, actually. So there you go. Paula Abdul, Whitney Houston, dancers. And then, of course, Miss Ross is the exception to every rule and exempt from all conversations. I know somebody who knows exactly what I'm talking about. So thank you for joining me this evening. We went over, ooh, goodness. Bye. I love you guys. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Whoa, we're at 15 minutes. I am so sorry, but wasn't it worth it? Whitney Houston. And then the Paula Abdul occurring to me like in doing the dishes. Anyway, tomorrow we have my friend Clara Sturek, very important person to me, and then Linda Mason again, and then hopefully my friend Gary Stella over the weekend. So I don't know. I'll squeeze one in if I can. Take care. Bye.